So you've chosen to play as an undead to show everybody that you still listen to Linkin Park in 2024. Well, good for you, my friend. This is what to expect as a Forsaken from levels 1 to 60 in World of Warcraft Classic. Death Knell is your starting area, a comfy, haunted village located in the west of Tirisfal Glades, which was a subsection of the Kingdom of Lordaeron before a prince with some serious control issues decided to burn it all down and make every day Halloween. The first quest that you will do will reveal that you have broken free from the prince's undead army known as the Scourge, and your people now vow revenge against this kid, the Lich King, for having destroyed your homeland. Also, for some reason your people have decided to ally with a bunch of loincloth-wearing poo hut-dwelling space aliens in order to achieve this goal.
Okie dokie.
Now familiar with your motivation, your questing begins, and for the next 12 levels or so, you're pretty much going to do the same quest over and over. Kill some undead, and occasionally go wreck some humans called the Scarlet Crusade. If you are somebody that you loved The Nightmare Before Christmas growing up, or you're a big fan of The Walking Dead, you're gonna love this place, man. This rotting heap of decaying flesh and bones will feel cozy and just like home. Just be careful of the Sons of Arugal when you make it to Silverpine Forest, because they will turn your anus inside out. Eventually though, Halloween must come to an end, my friends, and you are told by all your zombie allies that it is time to go help those poo-sniffing orcs across the sea in a land called Kalimdor. You will board a magical flying blimp, you will take for yourself a walk that will tempt you to uninstall the game, and suddenly you will find yourself in a new land, the Barrens. Picture this: dusty, dry, yellow. Get used to it, because your rotting self is going to be stuck in this zone for pretty much the next 20 hours of your gaming session. And where before you were working tirelessly to undo the undead armies of the former Prince of Lordaeron, now you're collecting velociraptor heads and zebra asses because Gurk back in the crossroads is hungry. Isn't this fun? Now, when I say that you're going to be here for a while, I'm not kidding, but occasionally you will get the pleasure of going to the Stone Talon Mountains, located to the west of the Barrens. This is the zone that makes you feel like you're pretty much adventuring inside of the ass crack of Azeroth. You may also get to hop into Ashenvale briefly, this large and beautiful forest filled with magic and elves that you and the poo orcs are trying to cut down for lumber. Maybe too, if you're absolutely insane, you will venture back to the Eastern Kingdoms across the sea to try to quest in Silverpine Forest where those Sons of Arugal are located. You'll pick up 2 quests, you'll do them, and then you'll realize that the next quests in these chains require you to be like 3 levels higher than you already are, so you gotta go back to the Barrens. The Barrens is your best friend, Mr. Forsaken. Just deal with it. You're a zombie in this freaking wasteland. Your rotting flesh is boiling under the sun. It just is what it is. Don't be discouraged though, because eventually you do get to leave the hot and nasty dust zones that are the Barrens and Stone Talon, and you get to make your way to such amazing places, such as Thousand Needles, a dry and dusty zone with giant stone spires everywhere to give you a change in scenery. And then after that, my friends, you can find yourself in other wondrous zones, like Tanaris, a giant dusty sand-filled desert, the Badlands, a dry dusty canyon, or even my favorite zones, the Searing Gorge, Burning Steppes, and Blasted Lands. Picture this: dry, dusty desert zones, but the sand is now orange and black instead of yellow. It's gonna blow your mind. Just wait until you reach Silithus though. You'll never guess what kind of zone that is. But before you reach some of those later zones, admittingly you do get to delight in some amazing world PvP out in Ashenvale, where you're going to eat your first Alliance player with Cannibalize. But walking through this magical forest is going to continuously remind you that you are a monstrous living pestilence in the eyes of the elves, invading their forest to breathe bile and blight upon their people. And you are totally cool with that. Your adventures will also take you back to the Eastern Kingdoms, where you'll get to go to Hillsbrad Foothills, a zone where you'll try collecting bear and saber cat asses, all before being ganked by a level 60 dwarf priest with a name called Sugnugs. Now I know what you'll probably be thinking, lying there in the grass of Hillsbrad, having this dwarven man in a dress shoving his micro-sized wiener into your maggot-filled anus. You'll be thinking, if only I had a nice, depressing, dusty-ass zone to level in. That would just make my day. So Desolace is a place where you're pretty much just going to be doing a lot of running around and listening to podcasts and audiobooks on Audible. The zone is boring as hell, mostly because the only thing you're going to be doing is grinding on Centaur to increase your reputation with some other Centaur. Occasionally you do get to do some swimming quests though, and you will feel like a badass with your extended underwater breathing. It is in this moment that you're going to remember at last why the Forsaken are clearly the best race in Azeroth, clearly superior to the poo-eating orcs in Orgrimmar. Can a poo-eating orc swim underwater for this long? I don't think so. Bitch. Desolace is going to bore you to tears though, and although you may want to return to the undead lands of the Eastern Kingdoms where you feel like you actually belong, you can't. Instead, after a little fun in Desolace, you are going to be sent to a jungle called Stranglethorn, where you mostly will be killing some gorillas. You have to be careful though, because gorillas and orcs almost look exactly the same, so it's very easy to attack an orc player by accident out of confusion and then get locked up by the Gromgol guards. Just remember, the orcs are the green ones. Seriously though, you are a zombie from a faraway ruined human kingdom in a jungle looking for the missing pages of a book that you find located in the asses of slain panthers. I mean, this is getting a little weird. Warcraft creates some really weird scenarios when you really think about it, but anyway. After all that fun being eaten by mosquitoes though in the jungle, you are rewarded by getting to quest in another jungle on the other side of the planet called Feralus, while at the same time hopping between doing the run back and forth quests in Arathi Highlands and assisting in killing unbaptized pagan trolls in the hinterlands. Also, at this point, you've had the pleasure of visiting the Badlands, but you probably spent less than 5 minutes there because you are sick and tired of desert zones at this point. At least there's Tanaris, which is another literal desert zone on the other side of the planet to delight in. You're going to be forced to quest here whether you like it or not, and it might be sandy and empty and dusty, but at least you get to fight pirates. And pirates are kind of cool, right? At last though, my friend, after all this grinding, you have made it to the end. As a Forsaken player, this is the moment that you have been waiting for since all those levels ago back in Tirisfal and Silverpine Forest. You're done with the deserts, you're tired of the sand, now you can reap your rewards, aka the Plague Lands. That's right, buddy. You are back in the ruined kingdom of your people. You are fighting against the undead minions and necromancers of that prince gone rogue. Finally, you feel like you are in your proper place. Finally, you don't feel like you're wasting your time helping the primitive races of the Horde sew new loincloths. At last, you are home where you belong. And if you get bored of these zones for whatever reason, you get to go kill some dinosaurs, dude. Dinosaurs over in Ungoro Crater, because who doesn't want to be a zombie who fights dinosaurs? And that's it, dude. You're level 60. You did it, Mr. Undead. You survived the nonsense of the Horde. You fought to reclaim the lost honor of your people. And if you stay committed to your course, you may even have the opportunity one day to ascend the frozen steps of Naxxramas and put an end to Kel'Thuzad, one of the lieutenants of your former prince gone evil. Truly, an epic conclusion to an epic adventure in Classic World of Warcraft for you, the Forsaken player. And now, with all that said and done, with level 60 achieved, there's only one thing left to do. Listen to some Linkin Park to celebrate.